Welcome to Bitter Reality Brewing. Yes, this is the Soursop or Saison Saison. We're sitting right at 5%. Actually, yeah, right at 5%. Finished at 1.007. This is the hybrid, Lallemand's hybrid Farmhouse, Saison, Yeast, whatever you want to call it. But we're doing taste testing. Have Drew,
hey,
my oldest, only one that's legal, the other one's not quite there, but you know, we'll get there. Get some water for in between because we've got quite a few things to do taste tests. But he's never had this, so I'm gonna let him do the beginning of the taste test and then we'll go from there. Don't forget, like, subscribe, keep sharing. Definitely appreciate the support. Drew, it's all you.
Okay.
And we're testing out some new mics, so hopefully they work well.
I've never had a soursop, so
Yeah, he's never had it
I don't have much to
ever. And to me,
It's
it
a very
tastes a little
unique
different.
flavor to me.
Very unique. And I will say that
It's kind of got some appley flavor to it.
supposedly people taste apple and strawberry, which I joke, I hate poisoning the tree, which means telling somebody what to expect before they try it themselves. And I can't stop smelling and tasting a hint of strawberry and a hint of apple ever since I read that. I used to only taste pear with a hint of citrus and vanilla. And now I taste all of it.
I mean, I guess when you say it, I can sort of smell the strawberry. I don't really taste the strawberry, though. I just taste kind of the appley flavor.
I taste everything I mentioned. And then I get the citrus bite afterwards. But the citrus bite too might be a little bit of the Saison yeast because it was supposed to bring a little bit of lemon, a little spice, a little pepper.
Okay. See, it's kind of like you took a little bit of the Pilsner flavor.
Oh,
put that
definitely.
in with it, and then there's some apple, and then of course citrus at the end, like
Yep.
you're talking about.
A little Pilsner and a lot of wheat. The wheat is just to
Yeah.
kind of linger, let the flavor linger on your tongue. That's anytime I do something with a flavored beer, I love to put, or fruit beer, I love to put wheat in there or oatmeal, but preferably wheat because it just seems to linger and let you taste it without having to have it being sweet. He likes things probably as dry as I do. I think we both are big on the dry side. We don't like it sweet. And sweetness sometimes can help accentuate the flavor. This had 3.5 pounds of soursop or guanabana, as I'm getting it correctly pronounced now. Guanabana. And I didn't have any problem. I used the floated 1.0 on the pressure fermenter. It wasn't pressure fermented, it was regular fermentation, but I added pressure to it to do the transfer and keep it under CO2 and not allow any O2 in. And I didn't have a problem. Blackberries, that was a whole nother story. That was a small nightmare, and I'll get into that on the other beers.
Okay.
So, success?
I like it. It's very, I wouldn't expect the flavor it produced. So.
If you're not used to soursop and you
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Berliner rice,
Oh, Berliner Weiss?
yeah, it almost has a little bit of that funkiness that you get from those in it with a Saison.
Yeah.
It's almost like someone blended a little bit, like maybe a quarter of that with 3/4 Saison.
That's what the end flavor kind of is.
Yeah, you got the strange fruit flavor and little orchard, and it's strange. I've had a Berliner Weiss before, which I gave to somebody else because it tastes like wine, and I wasn't craving wine. I wanted a beer.
It's
So,
good. Like, it's drinkable. It's just different.
On to the Blackberry Saison, or Blackberry and Lime Saison. Okay, this is the Blackberry Lime Saison. I used 3.75. I thought it was like 2.75, but it's 3.75 pounds of blackberries in 3 gallons of beer. There's a lot of blackberries. I also used 6 limes, just the zest, because I just really wanted it to shine through. I'm gonna let him hold his flashlight up to it so you can kind of see how pretty it is. And I don't know if you need me to hold it and you hit it with the light or how you want to do it, but you can kind of see it's got a nice ruby, light ruby red. I'm not gonna say ruby red, but light colored ruby red. And on top of that, yeah, I see a tiny bit.
It's like kind of coming through.
I have a tiny, tiny bit. Every now and then I see a blackberry. I don't see any in this one, but I've seen a bit and pieces of blackberry. Floated 1.0 did not cut it when it came to moving this one in the all-rounder over to the other side. And I thought about using the regular floating dip tube that comes with it with the little filter. I needed something heavy with multiple filters. So I used it, Floated 2.0, that worked. And I was able to transfer the beer. Otherwise it was just like sucking CO2. It just wasn't pulling. It was a mess. It got worse with the Gosa, but we'll go there when I get to the Gosa, because the Gosa wasn't transferred with pressure. It was transferred by, yeah, we'll get there. Technically, but let you go ahead. I've already lost my little bicarbonation. I'll let you go and try it first.
Ooh, that smells really good.
This is the Saison, and this is at 5% ABV too. It finished at 1.007, but for some reason the wort was 1.045.
It's got a really strong like lime scent to it.
Yeah, and I have tried all of these. The very last one we're going to do, I've tried just a tiny bit. He hasn't tried any of these. These are all the first time he's ever tried any of these. Never had a sip or anything.
I've had something that tastes kind of like this, where it's like you took lime and you mellowed it out with something else. Like you can taste the blackberry still, but it's like the blackberry just mellowed out the lime. It made it like a very smooth, not like a bite.
Yeah, the lime, but the lime, you can smell it. It pops. If I had to do this again with the Saison, and when we get to the Gosa, it's very different. Yeast control everything really dramatically and can alter an entire beer. So the lime pops, and I mean it pops. And at 6 limes, I probably should have pulled it back to maybe 3. That way we still would kind of stand out, but it wouldn't be so far forward. The blackberry is a little more subdued.
Yeah.
And this one's super smooth. It tastes really good. The spice, I don't taste the spice from the Saison as much in here, and I think it's because of the 2 fruits kind of battling it out.
You just have like the sweet blackberry on the undertone, and then everything else is just a very nice mellowed out lime.
And there was some Matuka. Matuka has lime and lemon aromas, which
enhance the existing lime. So.
You put a little more lemon, it makes the lime. You put a little more lime, of course it pushes the lime. So you're going to get all this lime. But
Really good.
Yeah, and I can. We're doing some taste tests tonight. We got a lot of taste testing to do, so sadly we're going to be wasting a little bit of beer. Otherwise, I could. Yeah, 5%, very sessionable.
Yeah.
Very, very sessionable. And for somebody who's never had a Saison, this would be like, let them try this. They'd be like, wow, that's really good. And they wouldn't go, ooh, it's kind of plain and blah. Fruit beers or Saisons have always been a preference for mine. I think they complement each other between the spice and the fruit, and just a really good go-to. Plus, they're usually a little lighter on the ABV. So, cheers. We're gonna go on to doing our second part of our next video. Don't forget, like, subscribe, keep sharing, and check out the Gosa video. Trust me, things change. It just changes massively. ABVs change, flavors change, everything changes.
The process changed, apparently.
It did. The process was a pain. It was even worse. It was 10 times worse, but I got it done, and it's done. Cheers. Thank you again. Thanks for joining Bitter Reality Brewing.